Hey everybody, it's Andy Kushner, host of The Wedding Biz, and this is another episode of The Next Level with my incredible, wonderful, fantastic, phenomenal co-host, Melissa Fancy.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, Melissa, I'm just trying to add a bit more energy to this. It's very early. You all don't know this, but Melissa's in California. I'm on the East Coast. So it's like 9:30 my time, but it's 6:30 Melissa's time, and we've been discussing this for a half hour. So thank you, Melissa.
And let me tell you, I look fabulous at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, one day we're going to start videotaping this instead so people can see and watch us, not. So anyway, so excited because, again, today we are going to bring up my interview with Mark Held of Mark's Garden, and we're going to give you some tactical strategies here, as we always do on The Next Level. And so, Melissa, you have anything first?
Yes, I wanted to share a fun review that we have received on iTunes, and I just thought it was lovely. So, thank you to everyone who is leaving us reviews, continue leaving us reviews. But right now, thank you to Eileen Hokeman, who has left us a review. She says, "This show is fantastic. They always have guests that are deeply admired and respected. Andy asks great questions and goes so much deeper than typical interviews. I'm always inspired after each and every episode, and I always find practical, actionable takeaways. I am a big believer that success leaves crumbs, and I love that the show has given us a peek into the mindset of some of the best and most successful people in the industry."
Ooh, very nice. Thank you, Eileen. And I love, Eileen, that you used that phrase that totally almost messed up Melissa with what was it? Practical, actionable? That's a tongue twister. That's a good one. So anyway, everyone. So again, obviously, hopefully you have listened to the interview. If you haven't, you should check it out. The full-length interview. It's with Mark Held, who is one of the co-founders of Mark's Garden out of Los Angeles, a huge name in the business, major innovator. He's been around a long, long time, and he and his floral design team have created just amazing designs for all kinds of events, including celebrity clients such as Fergie and Ellen DeGeneres and Pink and Gwen Stefani, Heidi Klum, Jessica Lopez, Jessica Simpson. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Mark also designed for many of the prestigious events, including the Academy Awards Governor Ball for like the past 23, 24 years. Incredible Emmys, Golden Globes. I mean, this is a big guy. So it was so exciting to go sit with him in his office and be able to talk to somebody like this, because I don't think he does a lot of interviews. So it was really pretty cool. So Melissa, one of the first topics that really struck me, I mean, obviously there's so many, but again, when I think about Mark being, one of the small handful of original innovators, is that we talked about innovation. I wanted to see what he had to say about it. And one of the things that really grabbed my attention, which we hear a lot, but to hear it from Mark, that even at his level to this day, in order to keep things fresh, you have to reinvent yourself with every event that you do. And he even took it a little further and said, like in LA, there's a lot of wedding venues in that town. And so I never thought about it this way, Melissa, but he's like doing the same venue over and over and over and over again. And so, there's a lot of challenges. And then how, every season has its look. And so, after a couple of years, it gets tougher. And he's doing this for so long. What did you think?
It's a really powerful thing for him to say, but he also said it so matter-of-factly. When you're looking at innovation, and especially in these spaces where, you are working at a venue often, it's like this dream to have venues referring you, right? And so what happens when that is a wonderful thing that is going on, then you end up working at the same venues often, right? And it's up to us to not let these places and our work become cookie cutter. It's up to us to not let our brides think that if they work with us at that venue, their wedding will look like ABC Formula One. We don't want that to happen. And I think the minute we start allowing that to happen, people stop seeing us as fresh. And what was cool about him is he just sort of owned it. He didn't say, "Oh, I had this, enlightening moment and I created innovation." I mean, when you asked him that, he just was like, "Yeah, this is what I do. I know." He was like, I just have to do it.
Yeah, it was like every day.
It was really cool.
And I also noticed, and this is nothing new to any of us today, but I just think historically speaking, that he made the point that way back, it used to be, that with flowers, people would only think about how long they're going to last. And in the beginning, I thought this was really courageous back then. And like you're just explaining, Melissa, Tim, it was no big deal. It's just what it is, but it was innovative at the time. His answer to that was, well, no, it's not. That's not the priority, how long it's going to last. Is it beautiful?
Right.
And that was actually innovative back then. It's just amazing.
You don't have to be beautiful.
One of the most critical decisions for any event is who you choose or recommend as the live entertainment provider. Sound Connection, the high-powered band, is the single most factor at driving the emotion and success of any party. Backed by a team of expert and custom experience creating consultants, Sound Connection is honored to have received the most press and most industry awards of any entertainment act in the event industry. Learn more about Sound Connection at theweddingbiz.com/sound connection. That's theweddingbiz.com/sound connection.
I wanted to say, with the innovation, with his sort of quote, that was one of my favorites. If you want to keep things fresh, you have to reinvent yourself with every event that you do. That, I think, has a very literal translation into what we just said. But I think it's also something that, if we're talking about takeaways here, we need to reinvent ourselves all the time, not just on the events that we do, but our businesses, the way that we look at the world, the way that we work with people. It needs to stay fresh. So, just keep that in mind, because I think that's definitely something that's necessary.
That's something that I think about a lot too. Like, I think about this, Melissa, in terms of also keeping myself interested. I mean, that's one aspect, is that if I don't do that, if I don't reinvent myself, I personally really start to get bored and I start to lose interest. And so I'm not going to say it's selfish, but there's a part of that where I need it to keep myself inspired. And then obviously, and then in today's world, I mean, oh my God, more than ever before. And this even kind of brings us into another extension of this topic, is that the public is so much more educated. Now, this is something Mark brought up. The public is more educated. And he said in the floral design world, and we'll extend it to the whole industry, florists have educated the public and the public has responded. And all we hear about, right, is that people are looking for new things, new designs. I mean, let me tell you, when I'm old enough that when I first got in the business, it was so much more traditional, like cutting the cake and the bouquet toss and all that stuff. My God, things are changing. They want different stuff all the time.
Exactly. And they also, in addition to being more educated, they have everything at their fingertips. So one, if you're not reinventing yourself and your work and what your portfolio looks like, they're going to get really bored and over what you're doing. Like, it translates into what they're seeing. But if what you put out sort of matches or elevates the things that they're researching, that's what's going to, draw them in. And so when we're looking at these people who are lovely new clients, they don't want to just look at, a package and sign up and sign on the dotted line. They are educated now. They want to see, hey, I know what a hydrangea is. I know what this is. I want to know what I'm paying for. And I want to make sure that what I'm paying for is something that you are going to blow me away with. And that's, I think, a bigger challenge for us now.
I agree. It's a bigger challenge. And at the same time, I'm going to say it's an incredible opportunity. I mean, it used to be, it was almost a push, because I've been like this forever. I want to do things totally different. And it's been like this forever for me. It's like, well, whatever, bouquet toss, cake cutting, having toast, not having toast, dancing between courses, not. Like, to me, there's no rules to any of this. And there never have been. And people would push back, and planners would often have even timelines that were just cookie cutter. I even see that sometimes today with certain people, where it's just a template.
Totally.
Everything has to be customized, and there's so much more competition now. And I know that that's a topic too. We're all feeling probably more pressure, and that there is so much more competition. But I look at it, well, as a positive way, because how can we differentiate ourselves? Well, by doing that custom approach and making that the lead of how we do things. To me, I mean, do you agree, Melissa? To me, generally speaking, in weddings, and I'm also thinking back to Christine Banta, a planner a while ago, last year I interviewed, she just totally, like, there are no rules. Do you agree?
Oh, I totally agree. And when you're looking at a lot of the up and coming generation, I don't want to say the word millennial, but that generation specifically, they don't want to hear about the rules. They want to hear, yes, I'm absolutely excited to do this really out of the box creative thing for your wedding. That's what they want to hear. They want to hear that the people that are their wedding dream team are committed to not giving them what has been done before. That's what they want to hear.
You know, my own personal approach with this is first to ask a lot of questions. You know, we've heard time and time again, and I suggest to everyone that you go back and look at the archive. I mean, there's so many amazing conversations in the show from way back. And so many of these planners, designers, photographers, all of them, but especially the planners and designers, are talking about first thing they do is just personally connect with their client or their prospective client first thing and really get to know them, ask questions, maybe go to their house, go to a restaurant, look around, see what they're wearing. And so it could be a bit scary, like how am I going to, in a sense, innovate, we'll say, or create something new for each client every single time. And what I find is that if I'm asking enough questions and I'm spending enough time connecting with them through that personal connection, I'm already starting to get so much information and answers. It's not that hard to me, frankly, when I then present the solution with what I'm going to do, music and entertainment. They're kind of giving me a lot of it.
They are. And you know what? Something that I started doing as well, and because I felt like I was getting so much information out of my clients up front about what they wanted, what they liked, who they were. Wedding planning is a really long process. Like you're working with your couples for a really long time. I'm working with my couples. Sometimes they're booking me like 2 years out, right? So I have a long, long time to talk with them. I started realizing a lot of my clients are actually going to a lot of weddings in between the time that they book me and their wedding day.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so I've given them a task and I say, okay, through this whole process, you're going to write down in your phone or whatever when you're at a wedding the things that you did not like about that wedding so that we can address that for your wedding. And that has been so powerful because it opens up this conversation that they've really never had with me before. And it's been a really cool thing. I really love that.
The last thing I want to say about that too, kind of laughing to have I do this, but one of the questions I ask, and you're helping me think of this, is when I'm meeting with the bride and groom, and I also want to know where in their group of friends are they. I think we all find this, that our clients, our brides and grooms, they're either kind of in the beginning where they're one of the first maybe to get married in their community, or they're toward the end. I have a way to position it, whatever they say. But when they say, yeah, we've been to a ton of weddings already, I'm like, oh, so you're one of the last ones. Yeah, we are. I use that. Because look, there is a sense of competition to some degree with each couple, or maybe it's not competitiveness. They just want something new that all their friends haven't seen. It makes it even easier to say, let's do something different. And I get really excited.
Totally.
Yeah. And then they get excited when I frame it that way, which I sometimes do. So, well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank everyone for listening. We got some really cool information here. So listen up.
We have so much more that we have taken out of this episode that we didn't have time for. I'm going to put it in a nice little email package for you. If you head to our website, theweddingbiz.com, and sign up to get the next level guide, I will email that out to you. It's a little sign up form on the right-hand side of our website. And also, Andy, you are going to be doing a part 2 with Mr. Preston Bailey here soon.
Yes, that's true.
I am so excited for that. If you pay attention to our Instagram, I'm actually going to be posting here soon an Ask Preston post on our Instagram, which is at Wedding Biz Show. If you comment with your questions for Preston Bailey or direct message me if you don't want to make it public, I will pick one or a few, and Andy will ask Preston those. We'll mention your name and your company name and see what his enlightened answer is for you. Make sure you guys subscribe and share with your friends.
That's right. And also, in terms of Preston, recently we re-released what we're now calling Part 1 with a new introduction to it. And we did the next level with it, which did not happen over a year ago. So be sure to check that. Also want to say that next week we have a very exciting release, which is Mindy Weiss. And we really get in it. Mindy was so cool and open and vulnerable, and she answered, and we discussed anything and everything. So be sure to tune in next week. Give yourself a break and enjoy all the good that you have. All right, take care, everybody.